Hello everybody, welcome to the 40th episode of the Chicken Chess Club podcast. My name is Gustafsson, the man who single-handedly won the Wijk Super Tournament with a little help of Anish Giri, beloved on this podcast, where I am being joined by my dear friends Laurent Fressinet and Peter Heine Nielsen. Peter, where are you these days?
I am back in the Lithuanian capital Vilnius, and I have already last evening I was hanging out at the central squares with the Belarusian and Ukrainian flags who are protesting there daily on Mondays. So I'm really back in Eastern Europe. But else, back to the family, all good here, and I really enjoyed Wijk. I mean, last Friday I was out golfing, so that was great. I managed to play 12 holes. During Magnus was having some very boring ending against Wesley So, but I was playing 12 holes of golf, and it was really great to be back on the course. And I could see that mentally I completely left the chess world for 2-3 hours. So that was actually quite nice in that way. But as I didn't have to pay myself, it was sponsored by New in Chess. I really, want to tell everybody who gives me a round of golf, I'm going to advertise their products here. So I will say that New in Chess, great book from Tiviakov recently, and please let's get the golf sponsorship flowing to this podcast.
Excellent stuff. If you had golf and Peter mentioning how much he thinks about chess in your drinking game, that's 2 shots, not 1. Laurent, speaking of holes, no. How are you?
Not too bad, I would say. But let's talk about you. I mean, I'm sitting in Paris. Nothing exciting happened, but you are the hero. I mean, you made something impossible happen.
Yeah, it's a pity we don't have the clip from the preview where he talked about Anish's winning chances. But let's not talk too much about Anish. Let's talk about me.
I will. No, I got some haters on Twitter. So on Twitter, I just clipped the thing, and okay, I will answer to that. No worries. But where are you right now? Because you look like it doesn't look like Thailand as we talked about before the show. You have some lights though, which is a bit. So you are not at home. That's for sure.
Both true. Not in Thailand, not at home.
I think you are a spy by now. I mean, I don't know. You are hired as a spy by everyone.
Yeah, but spy by whom? By whom is the question? I mean,
I'm in the Ding Liren training camp for the World Championship.
Wow,
that's a joke. No, I'm in the beautiful city of La Linea next to Gibraltar. I'm visiting my dear friend Arne, and I'll go into Gibraltar today. I haven't been since 2015. I used to live here, so it's back to memory lane.
Okay, from Wijk to Gibraltar. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this jet set life, it's getting to me.
So how long you will be there?
Until the 5th, I think. A couple days. I was hoping for more sun when I arrived. It was raining, and I felt like right back in Wijk. But no luck so far. Turns out even Spain can have cold weather in whatever month we have. January. At the time of publishing, probably February.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, not much happening. Of course, the Wijk, which we'll get to, had a nice finish. I went out for some very mild drinks and some chess playing with the Dutch boys last night. Then I had a flight at 4 a.m. from the transport from the hotel started at 4 a.m. from Amsterdam to Malaga, where I flew. So I haven't slept much, and yeah, here we are. This is great podcasting already. Thanks for listening. Shall we get into the Wijk Super Tournament?
I think we should.
All right. Anish Giri won. +4 in the end, 8.5 points out of 13. Dramatic final round where Abdusattorov was in the lead, half a point ahead of Anish. Abdusattorov was facing Jordan van Foreest with the white pieces. Anish had white against Rapport. And yeah, in a somewhat surprising turn of events, Anish won his game against Rapport, who chose I don't think I'm telling too many tales out of school, somewhat surprising opening line, this Rouser with G6, which I think for the situation was nice for Giri, because it gives you sort of a risk-free position where white is a little better. And the game didn't go perfectly, but Rapport made a big blunder near the end and went on to lose. And then Jordan van Foreest, who had almost beaten Giri the round before with some very interesting opening stuff, went on to win with black against Abdusattorov, who was leading the tournament all the way. So Giri won, which of course was a beautiful start for me, and I'm sure Peter was just as happy as it was my first tournament with Anish as a second. So it was good, and yeah, made the long, dark 2.5 weeks of Wijk a little more enjoyable. Peter.
Well, the winner gets to write the history, so I cannot, say anything to what you say.
I saw you were shaking your head, so where did I go wrong?
No, you were saying that I didn't appreciate Giri's win, and on the contrary, I have already sent him a congratulatory email. Well, there was also a couple of juridical questions in it as well, but it did start with congratulations, actually. So, that's how it was. Things happen. There's not much you can do about it. There is things that you are afraid of in this life, and when they actually happen, they don't turn out to be as bad as you expected, and this was one of them. So, well, what do you want me to say, right? I probably even feel a bit, let's say, pity for Abdusattorov, but that's part of his learning curve to have. He led the tournament basically from it started till the move before it finished, and that's a bit tough for him, I would say. From Magnus' perspective, any tournament Magnus doesn't win is not great the way we see it. I think Magnus tried his best. He recovered well from losing 2 games. At some point he was -1. He ended up with +3, if I remember correctly, right? So that was quite well. The problem is that when you are so good as Magnus, it qualifies as a sort of failure rather than as a success. But we generally had a good time. We thought we recovered well, and a couple of knight takes f7 in the right direction, he would actually have won the event. So in that sense, it was an enjoyable event.
Wait, you would have made the tiebreak. Very unclear who would have won that one.
No, knight takes f7 in 2 games. There will be no tiebreak.
In 2 games?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe Magnus I missed one knight takes f7.
Yeah, that was. Jordan had knight takes f7 winning against Giri, and Magnus had knight takes f7 winning against Prag. Reverse these 2 results, and Magnus wins unshared, actually.
So we only count the missed opportunities, not the ones where he got some gifts or others got some gifts.
Not at all. We can do the counting if you want, I have time. But
it's amazing that, it's actually very surprising that Magnus is so good that he's losing a couple of games in the middle of the tournament, missing some opportunities, but winning so many games, creating so many chances that he's almost there at the end. It's only a half point behind.
He won 5 games. He took, risk in the games he lost, trying to win them. He's playing to win every game, and when you hit a low and then still comes that close, I think for us it's a decently positive. Basically, like Magnus has 3 kinds of result: either he crushes the event, either he plays badly and wins it, or he plays badly and gets close to winning it but doesn't matter. So that's, we are not dissatisfied at all in that sense, and we still think that, if Magnus chooses to play more tournaments, he will do well.
Yeah, so I think you're a bit harsh with your boy. This last game, I thought, it looked quite good. Actually, I saw his interview after the game, and he thought he was better. And I also, with this night, it looked quite nice from white perspective. I thought it was, in his style, he played a very positional game. And, missed a couple of tactical things, but overall, I thought it was a good game in his style. So, he cannot really... of course, Richie blundered, but, Richie probably thought he was worse. This is very weird positions where you would think you are massively worse as black, but you are not, actually. So that's why I think Richie basically lost. But that was excellent opening opening position. I mean, he got in excellent position. I mean, like he could press, to get a safe edge and play. And well, that was a good game.
I don't think I said anything contrary, but yeah, it was in the end.
Yeah.
King G6, Rook takes D6, and it's game over. The king goes to some other square, and it's roughly equal.
That was a fantastic tactic by Giri.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing. No, I mean last time. Okay, let's come to this because I was a bit annoyed on Twitter. Like people say, "Come, see, Giri won a super tournament." So first of all, it's not exactly the first time I was saying that. I mean, people can testify. So I mean, I think he won his first tournament out of 30. So okay, played probably. So this is not massively impressive, and he didn't get into his head because I think. And maybe you will confirm or deny that, Jan, but I don't think he was rating his chances to win the tournament, let's say, 2 rounds before the last round, very high. Because Abdusattorov looked in full control. He was playing incredibly well, didn't lose a single game, and suddenly he lost that one game against Jordan. So I think Giri is playing, he's of course a great player, but under pressure, I think he's a bit worse. Is worse for sure. Many times he showed it, but that time he was not under pressure because it was simply, the tournament victory was simply not happening. So he was playing very relaxed. It's my impression from outside.
Yeah. Now that we've all congratulated Anish on his undefeated +4, beating the world number 1 and 2 and winning Wijk and Zee, let's maybe get to our winners and losers list as to, the chances. I mean, it's a cliche, but I think in the moment you usually try to approach it game after game. You can't force like a good position or a play position with the white pieces, but of course you have to try to somehow win that last game and see what happens. Obviously, Abdusattorov has much better chances going to the last round. He's half a point ahead in his white.
I disagree with you. That's exactly what Magnus is doing. He's trying to ensure there is play in all games. So that is a stylistic choice.
Yeah, that very much is. But yeah, the opening went well in that last round against Rapport. But of course, there's no debate that Anish has a more, I don't know what you want to call it, theory-heavy style. He's probably not going to play 1b3 to make sure pieces remain on the board in the last round, and then things can go either way. But overall, over the tournament, I would say, especially with white, it was quite successful putting pressure. That there are stylistic differences, and also that Magnus is a good player. I don't think anybody massively disagrees on.
No, I mean, we all agree that Giri played an excellent tournament. +4 is an amazing score, especially in that field where you didn't have any, let's say.
But I disagree a bit. I mean, Abdusattorov, for instance, would play for a win against Eric Geisy with black, even in a Petrov and such. It is more a choice than it's just based on openings. I think there are different styles, and some of them, they have pluses and minuses. But
guys, Anish will not win many tournaments, I'm sure, in the future. And then you come back to hating like he won one.
Yeah, but let's also, discuss it.
Let's make sure he's still chicken of the week.
Yeah. No, I have other plans, but let's see.
He didn't want to go to tiebreaks. Which is, I saw his interview and
should have made a draw. Hope Jordan wins to make sure he goes to tiebreaks.
Yeah. In a way, I agree with him that this tiebreaks feels a bit ridiculous after such. You play 13 classical game and then you decided in blitz, but it's in every sport the same. You play football, you have to play penalty at the end. So this is how it is. This is sport. You have to decide a winner, and sometimes tiebreaks, of course. Of course, they are very, very random. That's for sure. They are very random, and at the end, Magnus wins.
Yeah.
so it's not that random. But
randomness depends a bit on the format. In World Championship matches, I don't think they're that random. For instance.
No. Yeah, that's true. No, I was half kidding. It's not. Yeah. Because there is always, Magnus lost maybe 2 tiebreaks in his life. Since he's world champion, so there's not too much randomness. When you and Peter and I are playing, I mean, there is a lot of randomness. Let's face it. But no, we all agree that Giri played fantastic game. I mean, he's the only one with hitting so badly. I mean, in the openings, I mean, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, as Wijk, the position he's getting. Is the only one basically to do that on such. So I don't know if it was just you need. I mean, we all know you also need an element of luck to get in your prep. I don't know if it was just a bit fortunate event that he got so many prep in, or if he's just amazingly good at preparing, but probably a bit of both.
He won one game due to the openings, right?
No, but he got excellent position against Rapport.
Yeah, but that's not why he won the event. He won one game in the opening.
No. Another one. Okay, against Magnus, he got excellent position. I mean, you cannot say that against Magnus. The opening has nothing to do with the result. I mean, he got a very pleasant position to play.
No, he didn't get a pleasant position. Magnus blundered in a good position.
But it was a difficult position to play for Magnus.
No, he was trying to win it, of course.
Okay, I don't know what Jan is. I think the opening against Magnus was a success for Giri.
Okay, I'm puzzled with your statement. Sure.
I'm just enjoying this. Keep talking about it.
No, I mean, so he has this skill to catch people. So I didn't notice it. I mean, he's always very well prepared, but to such an extent, he's very impressive. So congratulations.
Yeah, let's move on to our winners and losers list. I had Anish as a winner. He won the event, won arguably his first super tournament. Depends if you want to count Reggio Emilia or Shenzhen. You can look up many Laurent Fressinet tweets on that topic.
No,
but I would say Wijk 2023 does qualify. So congratulations to him. Then
I never tweeted about that. You're such a hater. Never, ever. Find a single tweet about that.
Yeah, I think people who listen to the first 50 minutes can tell what a hater I am. Let's move on to Abdusatorov, who, 18 years old, played an absolutely amazing event until the final round. Had +4, also undefeated, looked very much in control, very confident, coached by our dear friend, Rustam Kazimchanov, who, as we all know, is a great mentor, great second as well. He looked fantastic and confident. Then, of course, he had this last round, which I'm not sure if you want to chalk it up to nerves, the situation. Tough luck. Also, one has to give credit, I think, to Jorn van Foreest, who was incredibly close to beating Giri in the round before that, as mentioned. And then with the black pieces, also thinking draw might be a good result for Abdusatorov there. Chose a very sharp opening, and I'm not sure something he knew that deeply, went for a fight and got rewarded there. So Jorn very much had the tournament victor in his hands. But Abdusatorov, he has to be counted a winner. This was, I think, his first formal just world-class players super tournament. Even with the last round loss, he scored +3, finished second, won 20 rating points. I'm sure he'll be disappointed. But out of all the kids, we'll get to the other kids, he was the one who, looked just amazing throughout, and I was incredibly impressed.
He looked so good during the... Especially in the middle of the tournament, and he was slowing down a bit. But okay, I mean, we shouldn't blame him at all, of course. And he made a quick draw as White against Ding, which showed already some sign of of being a bit nervous. Maybe winning. Okay, he was the previous day. He was defending against Kamer. So the end of the tournament was not that good, but overall he showed his class, beating Magnus in the process, showing he could hold. I mean, his game against Giri, he showed he has a great prep. He's playing this Queen's Gambit accepted / Petrov, so great solid repertoire probably. Rustam.
That's the cousin repertoire, no? Every new student gets to play Queen's Gambit accepted and Petrov. I'm not sure. I've been trying to sell Marshall stuff for 10 years. Kazim will do 20 years with QGA and Petrov.
Yeah, but look, I mean, he's making.
It worked very nicely, both against Anish and against Wesley in the next game.
Especially against the guy who is, maybe the best, who is incredibly well prepared and was catching so many people as white, but he just made the draw without, without any problems. So overall, he showed that he's part of that soon. His rating, I don't know what his live rating, but 2730, but soon he will get close to, between 2750 and 2800, I don't know. It's always hard to guess, of course, where he will stand at the end of the day. And if he will be top 2, top 3, world champion, who knows? But he's clearly, after, of course, my boy, Ali Reza, the most solid hope, I guess. So, future star of tomorrow. Or maybe today already. I don't know. Probably today, actually. Because he was already a world rapid champion. He almost won this super tournament. So, very impressive. And I'm looking forward to see him.
Won the Olympiad with Uzbekistan in spite of a mediocre performance on board 1, only 8.5 out of 11.
Yeah, come on. Yes, this is incredible. Every time I say something wrong, I hear about it for 10 weeks,
For sure. No, I was very impressed. And the guy is just a winner. Didn't work out here in the last round. But very, very, very impressive, Mr. Abdusattorov. Then, we already talked quite a bit about Magnus in third place, also on 8 out of 13. Like Abdusattorov, you can debate if you want to count him as a winner or not a winner. Peter mentioned, the expectations are, of course, if he doesn't win a tournament, it's not a success. But to come back from that -1 and winning the most games in the field, winning 5 games. The spirit also in the last round after he had this heartbreak against Pragnananda in the penultimate where he missed some chances and Pragnananda defended amazingly. So just by will beating Erigaisi was very impressive as well. And I think you guys mentioned hard to be too disappointed, but I'm not sure if it counts as a win in the Carlsen camp if he doesn't win a tournament.
Still, he's a loser. To me, in that tournament, this couple of games in the middle of the tournament, just win it and made it. We said impossible last week. I said impossible. I was wrong. Again, I was wrong. It was very close at the end of the day. I thought he had no chances to win the tournament, but that was the first time I'm surprised by Magnus, and he's showing that he can come back from almost every situations, but still, he didn't win the tournament, and when he doesn't win, I think he shouldn't be counted. Whatever happens, he shouldn't be counted as a winner, as a so-called winner.
Fair enough. One guy who I think we can count as a winner is Parham Masoodlu, who finished only in 6th place. I'm jumping Wesley and Caruana here, who we'll get to as well. But Parham, a last-minute replacement for Duda in the event, also not very experienced at super tournament level, just fought every game with some risks that chickens like me looked very, very unreasonable, but he was rewarded in the end, winning, was it his last 2? Defeating Levon Aronian, who had not lost a game since, in the last round, finishing on +1. And just a breath of fresh air, however you want to call it, in this super tournament scene. I don't know him, but he won his last 3 in a row even. But he also seems to be very liked by players and fans for his style, and people just seem to be in a good mood when they see him. So I guess congratulations. That was very, very enterprising stuff. Also showing no signs of slowing down, no signs of respect, playing every game for a win. Good stuff by Parham. Peter, what say you?
Well, I was generally caught out there on Abdusattorov, so I would like to praise him for his. I think he had an incredible attitude over the board and how he sort of approached things. I generally see him as a huge winner because of the talents. He was obviously the standout. Having said that, of course, being that close to a tournament victory and then having this kind of feeling of it all melding away in the last round could perhaps hurt him psychologically in the long run. I doubt it. He seems very much an impressive sporting character, and no, he very much impressed me in this event. About Parham, I genuinely agree. He was, he got in very late, and I think he was a very great choice by the organizers. I was a bit surprised they took him, but that only gives away that they know more about these things than me. I think he was playing very interesting chess, and I thought that against the strong field, he would suffer quality-wise, but that didn't... he did in a couple of games, but he ended up on a plus score. So basically, no, he was a sort of happy addition to the tournament, I think, very, very well.
So, he was, again, very, very interesting to watch. And he won the last three, which is very interesting, because this is the Wijk magic. I think only in Wijk it can happen. That people will come to it later, like Eric Gazy collapse or Max Ludwig wins 3 games in a row. This doesn't happen. But, you have to take your... it's not so... Some people are collapsing, that's for sure, at the end of the tournament. But it's not like you have to... you have to be good to collect points. It's not like you sit, you just play some moves and collect the point. These people who are collapsing, they are anyway very, very difficult to beat. So this is clearly, something, about your stamina, about your, your spirit. And, this is not easy to do after 3 weeks in Wijk to win the last 3, to have the motivation to win he was on -2. So, and to have this motivation and show something about his sporting ability and his love for chess as well. So it shows a lot of competitive skills. So kudos to him. And as you mentioned, Jan, he was the late replacement. So that made it even more difficult.
Yeah, you could also tell, I don't think his mood or his self-belief ever wavered, even when losing a game. Like, he was there with his friend and colleague Tabatabai, who was playing in the Challengers group, and he always seemed, when I saw him, like I said, I don't know him, in a very cheerful mood, and clearly every game he very much believes in himself and plays for a win.
That's great.
Is very impressive, especially in rainy Wijk.
That's something we're dreaming. Because look at us, we play a bad move and we think we are just the worst player in the world, yeah? So, he can lose few games and he doesn't care, yeah? Still believe in himself. So this is a good, an unbelievable strength.
Then we have some cases where I have a question mark here if we want to consider them a winner or not. Let's maybe start with Gukesh, who is a little down the table. He actually finished shared 11th on 5.5 out of 13. I have to say, I was still impressed with him. He had a horrible start with, I don't know, -4, was it? And then managed to, he's only 16 years old, not collapse in this field during this very, very long tournament. Went on to win 2 games, I think, not lose another one. Hang in there. To me, it was impressive. He showed his character, his fighting qualities, his stamina. Obviously, there's some work, as mentioned, I think, in his opening repertoire and playing against this top field. But I was very impressed. And when we're debating talents, somehow we tend to think of them as all the same, like Keimer, Gukesh, Eric Gacy, Pragnanda. But Gukesh is 16, like the other guys are 18 or 19. So I'm impressed. And okay, I don't think you have to be a fortune teller to say Gukesh will be back and he's a tough kid.
Yeah, I thought Peter is now not talking at all.
Yeah, Peter,
you get to talk.
Said something.
No, I'm here all the time.
Yeah. So I saw the last podcast. Another wrong prediction from me. I thought Gukesh would end up on -6. He was playing poorly. He was losing one game after another, not one game after another, but he was already on -4. And then suddenly he won 2 games, played a good game against Magnus. And seemed to enjoy the process, which is completely sick to me. To be on -4 so quickly and to stop losing and even win a couple of games is something that tells a lot about you. So first half disaster and second half great success. So
has to be mentioned. The swing game against his colleague Pragnanda. where I think he was much worse than Pragnanda thought forever and blundered, and that of course gave him this win and maybe the will to come back. So it could have gotten ugly, but overall, yeah, hats off to Gukesh for hanging in there. I was very impressed. Peter?
I think, you are a bit too strong in positivity there. I think that, his stock has fallen a bit. There was problems. I'm very impressed with his attitude, his comeback. But as you're also mentioning, he was centimeters away from a -5. So I think Abdusattorov ended up with some kind of bad experience. Of course, Gukesh saved it and probably will go from there with a positive mood. But I agree that he's only 16 and that is very, very impressive. But we have seen him in better shape than here, is my impression. But it's reasonable that a 16-year-old is not able to manage it that well. And I think especially his over-the-board attitude very much impressed me. He seems very serious, very dedicated, and the psychological things seems also to be there because he managed to recover. So I very much agree with a bright future, but I would not highlight him compared to others right now, as I have probably done before.
No, I don't think the final result is impressive, but yeah, the character, I thought,
I agree,
was very much so. Pragnanda's tournament was a bit reverse from Gukesh's. He started on +2, then went on to lose 3 games, finished on -1, which, is still very decent results. I'm sure he won rating, but it will leave a different taste in his mouth having the results come in that way. Any thoughts on Pragnanda?
I'm shocked by the way he won games and the way he lost games, actually, which is stylistically completely different from any other kids, let's say young players from that age. He won brilliant endgame. And in complicated stuff where when he was under attack, he showed some sign of, these kids normally is a different like machine. But he was playing poorly at times. And so he has a style, yes. For me, he has a very special style, so it's amazing to watch. While the result is, of course, at the end of the day, it doesn't look too good because he was on +2 and almost, fighting for first place. So I don't know. For me, it's just a weird style and something very pleasant to watch, of course. But I don't know. I would say, before the tournament, I was expecting him to do this kind of score. So I don't know if he's a winner or loser. Probably blah blah.
Yeah, probably neither. This style thing is interesting. I also debated it with Anish and I think some other people for the young players. Of course, they're all very different. But my feeling is maybe it's particularly with Pragnanda that usually these young guys, they are well prepared, strong in the opening. I think Pragnanda is also quite well prepared. And they're also, which is maybe counterintuitive, I think they're all very good in the end game. Also, Abdusattorov is a great technician. Okay, Keimer had his incidents in rook end games, but I also thought of him as a good end game player. Well, sometimes, once again, I'm not sure if you can generalize this, but it feels like that these complicated middle games, they're a little tougher, these structures and so on. Of course, they're great calculators, but I'm not sure that's the strength of young players. When we think usually they should be great at complications and tactics, it feels to me, and once again, this is just a feeling, that sometimes that's where the lack of experience can tell more, while they're all excellent or in end games and usually in openings. But I could be wrong. I'm curious. What do you think, Peter?
I don't know. I think it's difficult to sort of put them into labels,
of course.
Labels like that. I had very mixed feeling with Pragnananda, which is pretty obvious from someone going to being in the lead to ending up in the bottom half. I don't have a clear picture of him. I think that it's very much up and down. And like with Gukesh at this age, it's probably better to be up and down than to be stable. Sometimes it works and he does very well against strong players. Other times you see things where you're a bit puzzled. And, that's probably normal for a young player. I also liked his attitude in general. And, I think, what's noteworthy with the end game is that, the end game comes at the latter stage of the game. So one thing is end game technique. Another thing is that you need more energy
Stamina.
and think stamina
Yeah.
like that. As well, I think maybe it's an under, but I mean, their endgame plays will be better in Wijk than, for instance, in other tournaments simply because of the time control.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I think that's a factor as well. I mean, Wijk actually has a very slow time control compared to modern times, which means that you get a chance to defend better in endings, and you can like that or not. But I think that's something that should be taken into account when we praise people's endings here compared to other places, is that they actually have much more time.
For sure. With Praganda in general, or even in Rapid, I was always impressed with his technique. He's patient, he doesn't play the quickest win, but he never really lets go either. And here, this game against Ding, I think he ground out nicely against Jordan when he had a bad game. He also didn't really give Jordan a chance. But yeah, the final result, I'm not sure we can count him as a winner or he will see himself as a winner. But he did show he belonged also with the score.
Yeah, I think you made a very good point. As this endgame technique is also a lot about very precise shot calculations.
Yeah.
So and he seems to be very good, and maybe it's a lack of experience. This middle games stuff. I mean, when this king was under attack, he was not very happy with. So I mean, like it was clear that he was very uncomfortable with. So yeah, probably it's a lack of experience as well. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Let's move on to another question mark on my list. Jordan van Foreest. Bit of a Gukesh story there as well. Bad start. I'm not sure where it was, -3, I think. But then went on to stabilize. Won 2 games as well. Finishing on 6 out of 13, -1. Jordan, of course, the big surprise winner in 2021. But had a rough year, 2022. And once again, I think he showed spirit, especially in these last 2 games against Anish. There was, of course, very anxious moments. There's also some dynamic there between the two who, of course, know each other well. That Jordan, he's willing to play very risky openings and put a lot of pressure. And against Giri, he sacrificed an exchange when Black had many ways, but the way it went, he got I think at some points, completely winning position. Then allowed Giri to stay in the game at a moment or two, and Giri managed to slip away in a still unpleasant endgame. But even after that marathon game in the last round, he still played sharply against Abdusatorov, put pressure, exploiting the situation a bit. Won. So overall, to me, he's more a winner than a loser. He started badly, but I think he won rating, and after his shaky results in 2022, here, hung in there. I think it was a success for him, even though I'm sure he won't be happy with the final score.
I generally agree, but halfway through, it looked like it was not just that Jordan was out of shape. He looked like a bad player compared to what he was, and that he managed to completely whisk away.
He just blundered a lot also in the first half, like some one-move blunders.
Yeah, that's one thing, but also he actually defended a couple of bad positions. It could have been even worse. So, I mean, in the beginning, you got the impression, okay, something is completely off with Jordan. But then he started actually doing very well. And you could see, no, Jordan is still a very strong and creative player. So I think he will come away from it with huge confidence. But had you reversed the order of the game, he wouldn't. But, the order of events matters a lot to the sort of the feeling you take away from it. So I think actually it will boost Jordan confidence. And also you could see that, he's a very interesting player. And, it's good to have him around. So, to call him a winner would be an insult for someone who made -1 when he's a former tournament winner. But I'm sure that, taking all things into consideration, he will look at it with generally positive feeling and will be good for his career.
Let's insult Jordan. I will call him a winner. No, okay, he had a poor year. The tournament is very strong. Okay, of course, I hate what he did in the last couple of rounds. His results, but he just spoiled the tournament completely. But kudos to him. Shot great fighting spirit, what he had nothing to play for. So no, that's a positive experience finally after this poor year 2022 for him. So that's good.
For sure. Maybe let's move on to the list of losers before we get to the very exciting blah category. the biggest loser in the event, under very special circumstances, of course, but still, I think it's hard to debate, has to be, maybe not the biggest, but Ding Liren, who lost 23, 24 rating points, finished on, what was it, -2, 5.5 out of 13. Won his first game, actually, and then went on to score -3, lost his world number 2 position. He experimented a bit in the openings, I'm guessing, played a lot of 1e4s, which is not his usual first move. We speculated if this was match strategy or just, him trying to expand his range a little bit. Had a bit of a backbreaker also against Anish, where he played knight f3, got a very promising but very, very complicated position, and then, I think played way below his level at some points and went on to lose that. What do you think about Ding? What's happening with him? Is he just focused on the match? What's going on there?
Well, I would say it's somewhat scary. I mean, he didn't look like a very strong player in this event. I mean, for Ding's sake, we can hope for that. It's match jitters. We all remember Karana having a horrible Wijk and then winning the candidates afterwards. I mean, the positive story is that he is in a completely different mindset, and that he didn't care about results. He was only, trying to warm up for the challenge of his life, and so that can end. I mean, that's going to be the story when Ding becomes the world champion. If Ding, for instance, loses the match even by a considerable score, well, this will be the one that Ding 2023 did not at all look like Ding 2019. I mean, of course, it's scary, and you can also see that the odds on the match has changed somewhat by the bookmakers based on this. I mean, some of the games Ding seemed very weak. I mean, for instance, you mentioned the game with Giri. I think he had numerous ways to probably win the game, and he made some very strange decisions. Also, in other games, you saw things from Ding that was very unusual for the level we are used to. So it's somewhat puzzling. Also, you see Ding and Wijk and say he's completely alone. It's a strange situation for a person to be in so shortly before a World Championship match. So, I mean, I would be worried in, I don't know, in his shoes or in the, China's team's things, but maybe they have their ways of doing it, and we will see a completely different Ding. But if we see anything resembling this kind of Ding in Kazakhstan, it's going to be extremely difficult for him.
I think he has one last chance to win this match. Is to hire Jan for the match. I mean, Jan is making miracles. We forgot you in the winners. It's only a matter of money, Ding. I mean, come on, this guy.
It's not that much money.
It's not that much money, and it's only a matter of money. So it's fine. Either way. So go ahead and take Jan. And you can take me as well as an entertainer.
We did the math. The Ding, it's very possible to work from Thailand. We have to wake up a little early, but it should be fine. You'll have the files at like 2 p.m.
So we'll be in Thailand, and you will join us after the match. If you lose, we'll have a great party, and if you win, we will have a great party anyway. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Don't consider that. Yeah, no, it was just wrong. It went wrong from the very start. I mean, round 2. Since round 2, it just went stable for Ding. He had chances against Giri, sure, but anyways, I mean, it was just not the same thing. We will agree, and I'm very worried for the match.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure how much predictive power it has. There were, of course, some examples where someone did badly and then did well. But I don't know a chess player who is playing rated games against his colleagues and is then thinking, nah, I don't care. It's just warm up. It always leaves a mark, even if you don't play your main openings. You're always trying, and his chess quality just wasn't there this time. So, as a Ding fan, I hope he recovers.
Well, you can remember Bilbao 2008, shortly before the Anand Kramnik World Championship match. There you also saw Vichy playing e4 all the time, didn't work, ended up on -1, and then played his best match afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it should more be seen as a bit random, but of course, a bad result will have some kind of effect. It really depends on. Also, it's his first match and such. I mean, it would be weird if he's not starting to doubt his own level now. So I think generally I agree with you. I'm just saying that, well, historically I'm not completely sure, but I haven't cared enough to sit and check this. It's not that kind of stuff I do for my living, right? So yeah.
No.
You're doing other stuff as a living. Okay, on Twitter. Okay.
Yeah.
Then the other guy who I think has to be very disappointed is the man in last place, Arjun Erigaisi, who started with 6 draws. In these draws, he was also under pressure in quite some of them, but he fought well, but then went on to collapse, ended on 4 out of 13. That's what, -5. And yeah, just couldn't hang in there, which I think is also this Wijk effect, Laurent, that you described, no? That sometimes things don't go well and it's raining.
Yeah, we cannot judge. And yeah, this fighting spirit. While he's playing every game like nothing happened in the previous game, but he was losing every day basically. So at the end of the tournament. So yeah, and this Wijk effect, you can't judge people on that tournament fully. So I'm still very much looking forward to see guys in different tournaments because he was so impressive in previous tournaments. But yeah, that was simply a disaster. And his style played against him because he has this very uncompromising style, sharp style. So he's playing always for a win, look for chances. But yeah, when you are in poor shape, then it's going very, very, very wrong.
I also have the feeling, I'm not sure this is true, but I have the feeling that he's trying very hard to surprise in the opening more often than not. I think he played Grunfeld here maybe for the first time in one of his games. And if you do that and things aren't going well, I think you have to put in so much work. And then if your energy gets a little lower near the end of the tournament, maybe that also caught up with him, the length of the event and the work he was doing, because it looks to me like there's a lot of work going into the openings, also on a game-by-game basis, trying to come up with something new.
I don't know how it works for them, but I guess he was with someone. He was there, so maybe he was...
Yeah, my friend Srinath Narayan was there as a second.
So maybe he doesn't have much to... Okay, you still have to check files, but I don't know how it works in their team. So yeah, I don't. I mean, it's hard to say from outside, but yeah, it was really.
Yeah, I'm also speculating, but I'm pretty sure he does a lot of work, and of course, that can also be energy training.
Yeah, of course. Peter?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear the question.
There's no question, but if you want to speak on any of the players, you can do so at any moment.
Not particularly. I mean, maybe Kamer. I mean, I had a lot of hopes for him in the beginning. He also gave this impression that he just was not strong enough. Then in the end, you sort of at least reversed that picture a bit. He was quite impressive in a couple of games. His score was also affected by, I think, not winning 2-1 endings and stuff like this. So
3, arguably.
Maybe 3. I think the overall verdict is perhaps not as bad as the score reflects. And I think also he belongs in the category who must have been shocked halfway and then somehow recovered in a way, which also gives something away, that having a good fighting character. But at some point, I started doubting, okay, maybe I have heavily overestimated Kamer, then I somehow corrected that point of view. So it's also typical for these tournaments that they actually have several phases and things like this. Well, Erigaisi, I think, was entertaining, but maybe also in a way that hurts him a bit at times. He would, he will play interesting games and try to be very competitive, but that's a risky strategy against such strong players.
Yeah, for Vincent, as his number one fan, of course the final result is disappointing, -3. I wouldn't say it's a disaster. He probably didn't even lose that much rating, but it's not what he hoped for. I think the level was there after a rocky start. He got a lot of good positions. He clearly won the competition, or to my mind, who threw away the most half points in some winning endgames. He had like 3 rook endgames. 2 of those were at least clearly winning, or were winning, not easily winning, but were winning at some point. And also some of the games he lost, he missed some chances. So I think overall, he didn't collapse. I think ended with, I don't know how many draws, 7 draws in a row. But he surely, after finishing second in the World Rapid Championship, where he looked so impressive, Just like Eric Eisy, who also had an amazing World Rapid, I'm sure. They had different hopes. But I'll remain a fan, and the chess level, I think, is very much there to also play with these guys. Sorry, Laurent.
About Gamer, no, please, it's your boy, so you should be the first one to go into the topic and the most enthusiastic. But I will be maybe even more enthusiastic than you, because since the World Rapid and now in Wijk, I see him outplaying the best player in the world. Like, I mean, like on a daily basis, basically. I mean, he's outplaying all these guys.
They do play a lot of games and each day, so that's easier there.
No, but against Magnus, this Bishop G5, he put so much pressure.
Yeah, no, but it looks so easy for him. I mean, like, he is getting all this, because his opening play is not incredibly ambitious, let's face it. But then you get some middle game, and then he's just better than the guy. Okay, he didn't convert on a numerous time, but I see it. I mean, this capacity of outplaying people in normal, nothing special position. I think it's an ability which is very rare, and I see him. I see for Vincent, I really see a bright future. I mean, really, I was really impressed by this skill, and I think this is a skill which is very, very difficult to learn or to master, and he has it simply.
Yeah, I agree. These problems looked more to be conversion, which is maybe easier to fix than this gift he has for outplaying people.
You just make some, this. Yeah, it's much more. Easy to fix because you just need to make some training in end games, precise calculations, end game technique, and I think this is a much smaller problem.
Is it a course you are offering, or sort of?
No, I leave Vincent to Jan. Jan was.
I've never made it to an end game. It's very hard to do in 21 moves.
He has five top players under his already. So then next year maybe he will be completely sure to win Wijk because he will be training all the guys there. So I don't know.
But you guys will stay with Magnus, who wins every other Wijk, so it's still going to be a challenge. But I'll try to get the rest of the field.
So it actually becomes a fair contest then, yeah?
Yeah, those were the winners and losers. I have some who I listed as neither. Curious what you think. For me, it's Caruana, who started with +2, looking good, a bit like the candidates, then lost this game to Magnus, which was a bit due to a one-move blunder, but already his position, I think, was a bit dangerous. So there was an impressive game where Caruana was white. And then he went on to draw his remaining games, finished on +1. Of course, no disaster, but not a massive success either. Thoughts on Fabi?
Small loser. It's not impressive. He used to win more games, to be more nasty in openings. That was not the case. So, yeah, when he gets his game going, he can win a bunch of games, but he never really did. So it's no disaster, of course, but I would still call him a loser. I mean, +1 for Fabi is not enough.
Yeah, it's rating expectation, but of course we still expect more from him. Then we had Levon Aronyan, who was on +1 until he lost the final round, finished on 50%, which I guess is also roughly rating expectation. He, seemed happy to take it slowly after some not so great results in 2022. Didn't seem to mind a reasonably quick draw with both colors, and lost his plus score in the last round. I'm not sure. He seemed to be having a good time, was accompanied by his dad, but it didn't look like he was that ambitious in the tournament. Peter, thoughts on the Americans? There's also Wesley, if you want to chime in on Wesley.
Yeah, I think especially Levon, it's necessary to praise the way he was dressed there. He was just impeccable and very entertaining. I think, I remember some breakfast, there was this debate about who is the best dressed player, and I think I just pointed to Levon and said that, well, just look at him. He's obviously the best dressed player, and also
for context, he was wearing a hoodie in like 715 different colors that morning.
It was amazing. I mean, that's the point. I think it's just natural talent, right? He just dresses the way he wants, and it looks spectacular. I think chess-wise, he's also happy because he really had a tough time, And the question was, is he not a top player anymore? And I think he still is. He's probably not world elite, but he belongs there. It makes sense having him in top tournaments, so that's good. And I also agree with Fabi and So. I mean, they were like themselves, but perhaps not in the absolute best shape. So was not trying to win the event. That's perhaps typical for him, but he should have. He had a couple of games where it was obvious he should put pressure, and due to the tournament standings, and he was barely trying. Well, Fabi is Fabi. Not as strong as he used to be, but still ends up on +1. So there is, it's maybe the same feeling at the candidates at some point, that he can be a brilliant player, but he is not a brilliant player often enough these days to be very sort of completely elite. But he could get it back again. I'm undecided on that one.
Yeah, we should mention Wesley finished on +2, 7.5 out of 13. It felt a bit once he got these +2. I think he beat. Was it Gukesh and Pragnanda? I can't.
And Kamer.
And Keimer, yeah, sorry. That it felt like he shut down a little bit and started being even more solid than he usually is, which is hard to be. It's, what Peter Svidler said, that sometimes you maybe feel some regret thinking that Wesley, he could be even so much more because he's so incredibly strong. But it is a style that we've seen for years. It has brought him some victories, of course, many good stable results, and I think it is what it is.
If you sort of think and act like a chicken, which kind of coach should you get to improve your results? Yeah, we all know the name, yeah, so it's easy. So maybe you should add him to the portfolio as well.
With Wesley, I mean, it could be almost a nickname. I mean, like +2 undefeated. I mean, if you would, I wouldn't follow. If I wouldn't follow at all Wijk, I would ask, how did Wesley in the tournament? You would tell me +2 undefeated? That wouldn't come as even a slight surprise. I mean, that's what I was...
Sounds very normal, no, for a Wesley result, yeah. That's what you would predict, actually.
Yeah, it's what we would predict. And for Levon, I was really scared.
No, I want to say a quiz. Who dubbed me PH 5.5 in New and Chess, based on that... in the tournament, I would make 2 wins and 7 draws.
It's Sutovsky, like every
of course,
question of yours.
Yeah, exactly. So, right. Sutovsky called me that in New and Chess way back. So, we go back a long way. And I mean, while I criticize it here on the show...
Guys, have a shot.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, fair enough. Yes. Anyway, you can go on with your story.
Yeah, Levon, I mean, I was really scared about for him. I mean, as he was, he's much older than the rest of the field, and he had a poor year last year, so it could have. I thought it was very clever to keep it solid, because it could have gone wrong for Levon. So I think it's overall, even if he doesn't win any rating, I mean, it's overall a success, yeah. It still shows that he's there. No, it was a clever approach. It's a long tournament. People are young, so let's keep it under control. I think that was the right strategy. Okay, not very ambitious one, but...
Yeah, losing last round with White to Parham wasn't part of the plan.
Sure.
But that, yeah. He played very tight. Anybody we did not mention? Rapport, also on 50%, also up and down, bad start. Then won all of a sudden 3 games, then lost the last round we talked about. Hard to say for me. I saw on Twitter someone criticized us for saying he didn't have a great 2022, even though he did quite well in the Rapid and Blitz thing. I'm not sure. Maybe it's more of a feel thing, but also if you look at his classical rating, no, he used to be higher and is at 2740. I didn't think we were being harsh. I think we're all fans of Richie. Played some amazing games here, had some not so good games. I would say he's in the middle, probably. Not a loser of the event, also clearly not a winner. What do you got?
I'm confused, as always, by Richie. I cannot predict a single result, a single move. At times, this G5, G4 against, who was that? Against Sergezi, when he has this, you don't know.
That was a fun game, yeah.
Yeah, it's the best line of the computer. So, I mean, just Richie is Richie, and it's always nice to watch him play. Of course, I regret his last round where he didn't get. He played a fun opening, but then he didn't get his position. But for him, it's always the same problem. When these top guys, they play, they all, if you notice, they all play one e4 against him. It's much more direct. He's always playing some kind of, half crap openings. And he's getting into trouble. So,
like the Petrov, this kind of crap, yeah.
Yeah, but then he doesn't know it. Berlin, he will play 97 or something. I mean, like, he's always playing some random stuff.
You really haven't updated your knowledge the last 3 years, right?
Really?
I think so, yeah.
No,
okay,
I think it's an interesting topic. I think he's still torn between the two worlds of trying to be creative and playing some non-standard stuff, which worked well in this game against Eric Aisi. But there's also clearly work going into just having a very solid, tight repertoire and introducing the Petrov and so on and just mainstream openings. I'm not sure if he's a bit stuck between two worlds, but it looks like he's trying to join the world of boring clickers with computer preparation. Of course, he's still a special talent, but I have a feeling he's working in that direction.
I don't know. Yeah. To me, it doesn't look like he's working, but okay. I don't think he's doing much. But
he also brought a second. Blanking on the name, even though I played him in Bundesliga recently. A Hungarian guy, Banush, is that what he's called?
Okay.
So strong,
Banush,
strong Hungarian grandmaster.
Okay.
So basically, he changed to Romania, but he keeps employing Hungarians, yeah?
Those are the tightest openings. That's why I thought he's trying to go mainstream. Hungarian openings are legendary.
Fair enough. You're right about that. Yeah, I mean, I disagree a bit with Laurent, but we disagreed before the tournament, we disagreed after the tournament, so at least we are both sticking to our positions, be they right or wrong.
Yeah. Okay, I think we covered all the players. In case we forgot someone, we're incredibly sorry, but now I can see the list here. It's a long event, 13 rounds with three rest days. In general, the spirit, I think, was good. Like, people seemed in a good mood in the breakfast room whenever you saw anybody around. And it also looks like these guys, okay, a lot of them are veterans, of course. They know how to sort of keep it casual away from the chessboard and not stressing out too much. So I thought the mood was good because it's really a special place. Like, everybody in the same sort of small hotel. Weather improved during the event, but it was very on and off. It's not always great, and it can be windy and rainy. The side activities, the choice of restaurants, at least among the veterans, is not that big. So even though I'm sure we were trying to avoid each other, we very often ended on the table next to Peter and Magnus and Henrik. Like, I think it was a bit of stalking on their side. Clearly, like Switzerland, Italian. No, you were usually there first, so I'm not sure my stalking theory holds up. But yeah, basically, for us, we were alternating between three restaurants, the Sonnenbank, the Klein Switzerland, and the Italian. And I think that's an approach many people take. So it's a small world. One day we had dinner, we were sitting at a table next to Magnus, and the other table was Abdusatorov and his mom. And Anish was playing Abdusatorov the next day. On the neighboring table, my Danish is not great, but I could hear Sutovsky and Rusland. So it was was a fun dinner.
How many times did you talk to each other during the I mean, you went for this walk, yeah? After the podcast.
We went for the walk, yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean, like, it's very interesting, I think. I mean, for me at least, when you are into this restaurant, so you see who is, let's say, when you met them and Abdusatorov was there. So let's say, I think the Carlsen are going there. Oh, maybe Giri is going there. Who arrives first in the restaurant?
I think on that evening, Team Magnus was already there. We were second. Then Abdusatorov arrived last, but Abdusatorov left first. They just ordered a pizza and went back to business.
No, but that's very interesting. So when you enter the restaurant with Giri, how do you behave?
You just ask for a table. It's always crowded. Because there are many amateurs. So you just ask for a table for two, and then you sit wherever they put you.
But you notice the Carlsen. So how do you behave with the Carlsens? You say hi, you make some sign with the hand, or you just don't say anything?
I think there's normally no greeting. I made some dumb joke when I overheard Rusland and Sutovsky, of course, couldn't help myself. But of course, Peter around Anish is usually quiet as well.
Well, Laurent, I think to explain it so you understand, it's basically like if you are together with your present girlfriend and there is an ex-girlfriend. You're not going to talk to the ex-girlfriend because your present girlfriend will, be nervous.
I would say hi to the ex-girlfriend if we were in the same restaurant.
That is true, but if you just talk alone with the ex-girlfriend, you will chat a lot like this. So you can see me and Jan, we go for a walk, we speak for a long time, it's very friendly. But when we are sort of together with our current owners, we just ignore each other. That's more or less the dynamic.
With our current owners.
In Team Giri, we don't use the term owners, but yeah.
No, for me, basically the same. I mean, when I met Vichy, when we were alone at breakfast, we spoke for a long time. I could see he was a bit nervous. That was because Dvorkovic was coming. When I passed with him, together with Magnus, we ignore each other. When I pass him on my own, I say hi and stuff like this. This is, well, you get the dynamics, right?
No, I mean, not fully, but I like it.
Also,
like
because the dynamics are a bit special. Like, I think everybody else talks to each other at breakfast, and you greet people when you walk by them, but you are, of course, very focused on your team and your guy and so on. With Abdusatorov, they were sitting at the table next to us the day before he played Anish, and I think it was Abdusatorov's mom who asked me if I could move my chair a bit backwards, because it's really a small place. So everybody's very close to each other. And Anish said, wow, they're already starting to push us around. And there was some laugh, but that was the only interaction. There was some more pushing around the next day.
I think it depends who it is. For instance, I guess I'm the only one who says regularly hi to Ding. My guess is that not many others do, right? So yeah, I think it depends a bit on the person. I also went for a walk with one other second, for instance. So, I mean, you are actually not my only social contact.
Greetings to Kazim.
Yeah,
I also did. He's double dipping.
Yeah, triple dipping. I mean, that's, well, like Kazim we know and love, right? So, yeah.
It's always nice to talk to Kazim, yes.
Of course. Loves the place, always positive.
But Jan, when we spoke about the big winners in Wijk, you were too modest to mention yourself. I mean, we saw here now, Sokolov, I mean, he just signed, I think, an agreement with the Romanian national team. He won with the Uzbeks, he's been in the Netherlands. I mean, well, your stocks are also going up these days.
Yeah,
right?
that's amazing.
I mean, this is like you win something big, and then the offers keeps coming, right?
I haven't seen a lot of offers in my mailbox, but yeah, obviously without fake modesty, I can't take a lot of credit. It's a long event. I think we got along well. It's also no secret Anish was already well prepared before I entered the picture. Like, you do what you can. You know how it is. Like, a lot of the job is also walking, having dinners, then you do some clicking and you debate some strategies and so on. But of course he has, especially in the opening, an amazing overview. It's also not a secret.
Don't be so shy and modest. I mean, the guy is not winning. I mean, he's playing super tournaments for 10 years. Then you just join him in Wijk. He just wins. I mean, it's a great. I mean,
no, of course it's a nice start, but it's not like it was his first time doing well in Wijk. No, he finished second 5 times, and you could argue here something's had to happen in the last round. No, I'm very pleased, of course, but you know me, I'm not shy taking credit, but I think the credit very much belongs to Anish. Yeah. It's not like the 3 World Championship matches I won by myself.
Yeah, by showing the Marshall, the all-tick.
The Marshall. Man, that Sveshnikov match got a little close, but we're going to...
Yeah, exactly. The Marshall, and look, I think he's going to play, as a guy, he's going to play A4 anti-Marshall. This is your all-tick. And yeah.
They all do. Okay, before we move on to the other segments, we have one very exciting detective story. Peter, I'm not sure that part reached you, or if you were interrogated, or if you literally heard it, because one night there were very, very loud lovemaking noises in the Fletcher Hotel, which has very thin walls. You could basically hear conversations on the floor or in the room next to you. That's why we only talked about chess moves in Morse code. But there were very loud sounds throughout the night, like 11 p.m., 5 a.m., again in the morning.
Really?
And I did a thorough investigation, of course, at breakfast, questioning people. Everybody else had heard it. Some people claimed they had heard nothing, which at first I thought made them more suspicious. But then I thought the people that said they heard it, it's like this who farted You would also usually say, guys, did you also hear that very loud noise? Or can you also smell it? So the investigation kept on going. My current theory is, I can't name names, of course, that there might have been 2 killers. There might have been 2 people. It was too much for just one person. And from one suspect I heard, there might have been something, but not all. So it's an ongoing story.
But are you sure it's a chess player? Do you think it's a chess player?
Yeah.
It's a player who was in the tournament.
It could also be there was one player. One more player. We'll never find out. But Peter, you didn't hear anything? How could you not hear?
Not at all. I heard noise here and there, but not of the kind you mentioned. So,
but okay,
no,
if he's not at the same floor, maybe you were at the same floor, no?
Doesn't matter. You could hear anything on any floor. I talked to people on the first, second, third, fourth floor. Seriously.
Come on.
Very serious.
Yeah. I honestly can say that this is the first time I hear this rumor. But
it's not a rumor.
No. I mean, well, fair enough. It doesn't strike me as illegal, but so I mean, yeah, I have no particular comment to that. It's of course, well, there should be investigations that some chess player had sex, but even so.
Also shows how much stuff is happening in Wijk. That this is a big story.
Yeah. No, that I'm sorry that I cannot contribute to any kind of that. It's not the topic I have been involved in debating, I have to say. So I apologize. You know, from dinners with subjects, it seems that I'm talking about. So yeah, no. I'm sorry, but it's a good juicy rumor. It should be sort of investigated.
Really not a rumor. Ask anybody else but Peter who was in that hotel.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was at the 4th floor, so to my defense. So I think, I mean, yeah. What do you wanted to say?
Let's move on. That was Wijk aan Zee. What is next in the chess world? The Champions Chess Tour, I think it's still called Champions Chess Tour, returns. The qualifier is on Friday, February 1st. Then the main event is from Monday 6th till I don't know what day that is. Friday the 10th.
It's just much shorter than it used to be.
We debated the format before we went on air. I'm not smart enough to understand it, but it will be exciting. Magnus and Wesley are seated for the top group. I'm sure we'll have a lot of players participating, trying to qualify into the 3 groups. Did you guys understand it? Or let's not make it half an hour. But
I have been extremely practical, so I only looked at it from my work perspective. As I understand, Magnus plays the final. It's the so-called double knockout event, which means if he loses one match, I still have to work the next one. But should he lose 2 matches, then it's over, basically. So that's as much as I get. And if in the final day, there can maximum be 2 left. And if one of them has lost 1 match, the other one hasn't lost any. I think the concept is the one who has lost 1 needs to win this match and then win a tiebreak as well. So I only understand the thing. Else, I think there is some different divisions. And in principle, everybody of a certain strength in the world can enter and just fight his way through to the final.
You have to be a grandmaster.
I think. Okay, but like that. So basically...
Yeah, no, I checked briefly. And I didn't try to understand the full stuff because I understood it would take me a lot of time and it was not 100% guarantee that I would eventually manage to understand it at the end of the day. So that could be a pure waste of time. So I didn't do it.
No, but as far as I get it, if you are, I mean, you can end the division free, and if you just keep winning, you end up playing the final against the world elite in 3-4 days, right? That's the basic.
No, that's for sure. I received an email from chess.com saying that I was qualified for the qualifier, so I could enter the qualifier. So that's. I mean, then I checked the time control. I saw 10+2. I thought, okay, maybe. Let's see, but yeah, probably not. let's not do that.
Will be fun to watch, and we'll figure out how the format works.
Let's see how it works.
As we go along, as we always do, like exactly. When we do commentary. My first question is always 1 minute before it starts. What's the format? What's the time control? No. Well prepared. That brings us to everyone's favorite segment. It's back after a hiatus in a new mode. 5 minutes of FIDE uninterrupted by Peter Heine Nielsen. Peter, clock is ticking. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think Kazakhstan has been chosen as the venue for the World Championship match. And, well, that is, again, very much mixing sports and politics. The main sponsor of the event is Timur Turlov. He is sanctioned by Ukraine. He was on the Russian Forbes 2022 oligarch billionaire list. Now he's changed his citizenship to Kazakhstan. But, still his ties to Russia is obvious. There is direct ties from him to Dvorkovich via Hermann Gref. Hermann Gref is I think he's the CEO of Sberbank. And just sort of quite shortly after the full-scale invasion of Ukraine had started, there was problems with sanctions of Russian banks. And a lot of deals happened. One of them was selling parts of the Sberbank part of from Kazakhstan was sold with Gref to Turlov's company, and we're talking about billion-dollar deals here at a very crucial moment. Hermann Graf has been closely connected to Dvorkovich for a long time in politics. They are old colleagues, and quite recently, for instance, Hermann Graf did a very famous interview for the Financial Times, and he speaks, for instance, about his birthday party with Dvorkovich. Dvorkovich turned 50 in March last year, and he talks about them having a party. Dvorkovich has invited everybody from the elite, and especially sort of noteworthy is Igor Shuvalov showing up, also a Russian oligarch and politician. He shows up in a sort of Russian set T-shirt and makes a very sort of flaming pro-Putin speech. I don't think that is very suitable for a FIDE president. But anyway, also it's important to understand the political relevance of Kazakhstan. They are closely connected to Russia. There is a lot of talks about sanctions being circumvented via Kazakhstan. It's also important to understand that in beginning of 2022, Russian paratroopers was landing in Kazakhstan to help stabilize the situation due to sort of ongoing riots there. And we could go on like this. I think also in terms of sanctions, it's relevant to mention that right now FIDE is having their Paralympics games in Serbia. Paralympics is a great idea to have games for players with physical disabilities. However, again, you see this very obvious political context. For instance, the main sponsor of the event is the gas company called NIS. It's a Serbian company, but it's more than 50% is owned by Gazprom. So again, you see Russian state money sort of being funneled into the chess world, funneled into FIDE finances. That is generally wrong. And again, it's in a country that is very connected to sanctions and Russia. Right now, there is ongoing negotiations. The Western world is trying to get Serbia to actually sanction Russia as part of the EU negotiations the country is having. So it constantly ends up being politicized like that, which I think is very wrong. Well, it's been a long time since we had this segment. There has also been the story, for instance, about Bayat, the FIDE arbiter in Reykjavik, who was wearing a Iranian, sort of pro-Iranian female shirt. And, you see a lot of politicizing of chess in that way. And the problem is that if an arbiter wears a processed in Iran shirts, it will be heavily criticized. But in other ways, we see it coming in all the time. Of course, also on the bigger scene, you would have probably noticed that Ukrainian top politicians, like, of course, President Zelensky, but also, I think, their foreign minister Kuleba, is talking a lot about, not about chess, that's too small for them, but they're talking about the IOC and the Olympiads, and can we have Russian athletes competing under neutral flag? And FIDE has very much been, you can say, the guinea pigs of that. We have been doing this kind of neutrality, and they want to do it on a much bigger scale. And you can see that Ukrainians are fighting heavily against this at the moment. You can see both Zelensky made a 3-minute speech where he was criticizing the IOC. He was inviting Thomas Bach, please come to Bakhmut and see the actual devastation of our population. They were showing a lot of sports fatalities who has been completely bombed. They're showing Ukrainian athletes who has been killed. And I think we face similar questions in the chess world. Can we actually have this kind of neutrality we have? Well, the chess world seems to think we can. On a sort of a bigger level, it's a heavily debated issue at the moment.
Thanks a lot, Peter. Those were 5 minutes on FIDE.
So do we like that format? I didn't listen to... do we like in the space that format?
Let us know on Twitter @chicken_chess.
No, I was asking you, Jan. You like it? You prefer it that way, yeah? Like he goes 5 minutes and then you don't listen?
I think it's the best solution for everyone, no?
I obviously think that's wrong, because what the problem in the chess world is that...
5 minutes are over.
But this is... now we're talking about our podcast, that the big questions are asked, but then we don't get any answers. But, at least we can be part of that system in a way.
No, but we don't speak about that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the exact problem. So,
No, we don't speak about that. We don't speak about that. We speak about the format. If it's better that you get interrupted or not.
I know. Yeah. Well, the people will have to decide, and also I'll have to get used to it.
Let's vote, and we won't follow the vote. Of course, we'll just decide.
No. It will be. This is, I think, a famous joke by Kramnik.
Elon Musk.
No, actually by Kramnik. He said that before some... it was Asma who made the joke. But before some event, the FIDE was asking the players. So they got responses from 20 persons. And I think 19 of them was in favor of one thing. And Kramnik was in favor of the other thing. And they chose Kramnik's proposition. But at least they could say, after consulting the players, right?
Yeah.
So we will consult our listeners and then we'll make up on our mind on our own, right?
Sure.
Anyway, Jan didn't think that was funny.
On a serious note, all of those are, of course, very serious topics. We made the decision, I think, for now that it's better for the podcast if we don't argue about it every episode, but instead give Peter space to say his piece. We'll see how we handle it.
It's a bit annoying.
In the future.
I'm not that happy about it, but yeah.
Let's end on some listeners' question. We apparently still have 3 listeners or more, so thank you everybody out there who's hanging in there. A tree for a while is saying, are there special precautions one takes while traveling with white sneakers? Avoid cold beaches, carry cleaning supplies. I guess that's for me, because I'm of course a big lobbyist for white sneakers, currently wearing some not that clean but very, very white sneakers.
I can testify. Jan has impeccably white sneakers, even when we go to dinners. And basically, he puts out his long legs with white sneakers, basically where one has to walk past. But he would remove them now and then. So, he's basically flashing.
And he would show his white
object, and they are very impressive. No, don't. I'm white shaming his sneakers, not his body.
We're white shaming everything.
So I don't know how Jan does it, but he does it very effectively.
I can tell you one secret. I spend my time during the rounds in Wijk, not every day, but a bunch of days, more than every other day, going to the gym in Beverwijk. And one secret to having very clean sneakers is going with your boots to the gym, then realizing once you're there, and it was a longish trip. It took like 45 minutes to get there. So I didn't want to get back, and I also didn't want to not go to the gym. So I went to the sneaker store nearby and bought the cheapest pair of very white sneakers so I could get to the gym, because I didn't want to go with boots. So I had a clean backup pair.
You're very impressive, but if you compare you to Aronian, I think Aronians comes natural, while you actually put in a lot of effort to upkeep this high level, right?
But why did you buy the cheapest?
Because I already had 3 pairs with me, and I have a limited sneakers budget.
Okay.
It was before Anish won the event, right? He couldn't know how it would go. So,
yeah. Joe Hegel is asking.
Some very good questions.
Oh, come on. No. I don't know why you went to this question. No, the time is over.
Sorry. Next time, Joe. And then let's end
Are you kidding
Paul
me?
Salier. No. How can Laurent find a way to call Giri the chicken of the week despite his winning Wijk? That's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, easy, of course. Look, just listen to him, how he was talking about tiebreaks, and you get your chicken.
There you go. On that note, Anish Giri, chicken of the week. Not sure it's going to hurt his feelings much this time. Congratulations to the winners. Condolences to the losers of Wijk and say chess will keep going, as will this podcast.
Maybe.
I think maybe. You never know. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And we'll see you, not literally, next week. Peter, final thought.
I think that you skipped a very relevant question from the listeners. And I strongly object to that, and I'd like to apologize.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.